Hey guys, so welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a bit different and it's going to be an emotional roller coaster for me to talk about. As you saw from the title, this is going to be a really deep video, I guess you can say. I am here to talk about my story. I was going to do the whole draw me thing, you know, so it won't be such a sad video, but I was like, you know what, I don't want to lose focus from what this video is really about, so we're just going to go ahead and get straight into it. So I was born in 1997 in Mexico, San Luis Potosí. My mom had me when she was 18, I believe. She illegally crossed to the United States by crossing the river from Mexico into the United States. So she crossed with two of her friends to give me a better education. She wanted me to have a better life. She didn't want me to be stuck in Mexico. So when I was 10, I asked my mom if I could go to Mexico. Obviously, I can travel to Mexico, but I can't come back in. That's a problem. I don't have a visa, I don't have a green card, I don't have anything. So my mom was very struck by the fact that I wanted to go, but she knew that it's something that I've always wanted to do. Every summer, all of my cousins, they would go to Mexico and I would be the only one that couldn't go, you know, and I would get really bummed out. So my mom told me this. She's like, if you go to Mexico, you're gonna have to cross the river with the coyotes. And the coyotes, if you guys don't know, they're not like actual animals. The coyotes are people that get paid to basically like cross the people from the river. Obviously, I'm not just gonna like go into the woods and cross the river by myself. They're the ones that help me out. So my mom said yes, and I went and I was so excited. Mexico is so beautiful. I went to Jalisco. I didn't get to go to San Luis Potosí because my family lives in Jalisco. I spent a month there, and you know, like little by little, all my cousins started to go back, and then it was just me. And as the day got closer, I started to get more scared because that's when it really hit me, like, oh crap, like I'm actually gonna cross the river with a bunch of strangers. So my mom calls me one day and she's like, hey, she's like, I found this lady that you're gonna cross with. The day comes and my grandma wakes me up like at 3, 4 in the morning, and she's like, today's the day. She's like, you're gonna have to leave. And that's when it hit me, and I started bawling and I started crying, and I was like I was so scared, and I was like, no, I was like, please, I was like, I don't want to go. Like, we started walking to the lady's house and I was crying the whole time. I was begging my grandma. I was like, I'll stay here in school. I was like, my mom can send me money. I was like, I can work with you. I was so scared. I was like, I'll just live my life here in Mexico. Like, I really don't want to cross back. Like, I'm super scared. So we got to the lady's house and we got in a van, and I fell asleep on the ride to the border. Right before we got to the border crossing into the United States, they took a different route, and I fell asleep and I woke up, and it's crazy because 5 seconds ago we were on a freeway, and then I wake up and we're like in this forest type of thing, and there's just like a wood shed. Like, everything I'm telling you guys, please envision it in your head and try to put yourself in my situation. So we go into the little shed. It's literally a wooden shed. Like, it's just a wood shed, a little thing, and it just had one little hole. So we go in there, and it's like other people are sitting there that are like waiting to like cross the river. And then the guy was like, okay, come on, let's go. So in total, they picked out the lady that I was with. I don't even remember her name. This was such a long time ago. I'm 19. This was 9 years ago, by the way. So it was the lady, and she was like in her early 40s, I believe. I was 10, and it was this pregnant lady, and she was like literally a month before giving birth, and she was gonna cross the river with us. And then it was two coyotes. It was one coyote, and he was like bald. He was really, really nice. And then there was another one. He looked much younger. All we had was a gallon of water for all 5 of us, right? So then we start walking, and it's so weird. Like, we just started walking, and it was literally like a forest. Like, I was walking down, I just remember seeing a lot of trees, and I was like, oh wow, like it's so pretty, it's so quiet. So it's like this little mountain, and then like we had to walk down that little mountain, and then it's the river, and then the same mountain. So then we were going down that little like rock thing, like we were literally rock climbing down, and like the lady was grabbing me, and then here they pull out like this what's it called, a float. They inflated like this float, and then they were like, you're the only one that's gonna get on there because you're the youngest one, so we're the most concerned about you. And so everybody else is holding on to the raft. So the pregnant lady is on this side, and then the other lady's on this side, and then the two coyotes, and then it's me on the raft. So they were grabbing onto it, and literally the river goes from like you're walking, and then all of a sudden it's just like boom, it drops. Like, the river is so deep. So many people have died crossing that river. So many people, like, all of a sudden, like, the river is really smooth, and all of a sudden it's like a big old rush of water. And so then we were going, and like everything was going smooth until like we were about to hit like we were about to like hit the other side, and a big like rush of water comes, and like it moved us a little bit, and like a branch went through the raft and it popped, and I was like, oh shit, I was like, I'm sinking, there's water in the raft. Like I started panicking, and then one of the coyotes was like, get on my back, and I was like, okay. So then I got on his back, and like half of my body was in the water, but thank God we were already in the part where like you can like step on it and walk. So then we climbed the rocks, mud, whatever you call, and then we got up there, and then we were like, I was super exhausted, I was over here drenched in sweat, like I was super thirsty. We were already half down the gallon, and he's like, we still have like 5 more hours to go. Have this in mind, this was just 2 hours of the trip. So then we walk a little bit more forest, and this is a crazy thing. I feel like I was in Narnia. Literally, like, we went through a forest and then a river, and then once we passed those little like bushes forest, it was just plain grass. So we were walking, and all of a sudden we like feel like this rush of wind, and he's like, everybody stop. We see all the grass blowing in one direction. He's like, la migra, saying like, you know, they're coming, like they're here. So we're looking everywhere, and then we look up and we see a helicopter. So that's when I got really scared. So we see the helicopter, and I was like, fuck, like, where are we gonna hide? Like, there's nowhere to hide. We started running, and there was like bushes here and there. He throws me into the bush, and I was literally shriveled into the bush, and he's like, stay here. He's like, don't move, whatever you do, like, don't do anything. I could see, and I was just looking, and then that guy, that coyote guy, he was running, and they caught him. I just hear like him screaming, like trying to fight the guys, and I was just so sad because I'm like, they got him. I was like, that could have been me, and he wanted to save me. So then here I am looking at the guy, and he gets caught, and this whole time I'm like, where's the pregnant lady? I'm like, where's the lady that was taking care of me? I was like, what's going on? So I stayed in that bush for like about 30-40 minutes, and I was just crying and crying, and I was like, fuck, like I should have never done this. I should have never went to Mexico. Like, it was my hugest regret at the time. And I was like, what if I never get to see my mom? I'm like, what if they catch me in jail? What if they rape me? Like, all these things were going through my mind. I'm getting so emotional. No. Well, there goes the first tear. The coyote, the bald one, he found me, and he's like, oh, come on. He's like, they caught the other guy. He's like, but you'll be okay. 4 hours have passed by, I believe. At this point, we had ran out of water. So we were walking, and the pregnant lady faints. It was so hot. I forgot to tell you this, you guys, but as we were walking, it's literally like about 100 degrees when you're walking. It's so hot, like literally feels like you're in a sauna. Imagine walking for 5 hours straight, no breaks, no nothing. You go through a forest, you go through sand, you go through a river at 100 degrees. And you're pregnant. We all offered to give her that last bit of water. She got better like in 15 minutes, and we started walking again. And I just remember, like, I was so tired. Like, I started crying, and then like I stopped walking, and the lady turns around, she's like, come on. She's like, we have to go. And I was like, I can't. I was like, I can't do it. I was like, I'm too tired. I was like, I feel like I'm gonna faint. We have no water. And so I took out the money that I had left, and I took out $100 bill, and I told the guy, I was like, can you please carry me on your back? I was like, I can't do it. I was like, I'll pay you $100. He's like, you don't have to pay me. He's like, I'll do it. So have in mind, the coyote was drenched in sweat, and I climbed onto his back, and I just hugged him, and I just laid my head on his sweaty back. I didn't even care. Like, it just felt so good. Somebody like just like taking care of you, and he was taking care of me. So we literally walked for like another hour, you guys. He walked with me on his back for another hour, and he's oversized, and you know, it must have been really difficult for me to add on that extra weight. So I was crying on his back, and he's like, it's gonna be okay. He's like, I've seen much younger kids cross the border than you. He's like, you got this, you can go through this. I fell asleep while I was on his back, and he wakes me up. He's like, we're here. And he drops me off. He's like, from here, he's like, you guys are on your own. So it was the pregnant lady, the lady that was taking care of me, and me. He was like, this is where I'm done with my part. So we walked for like another 30 minutes, and then out of nowhere, you just see a house and like this big shed with nothing but sheep. And I'm just kind of like, what the heck? Once we got to the pen of sheep, she's like, get on your knees. So I was like, okay. She's like, you're gonna have to crawl through the sheep. She was like, because immigration passes through here. And I was like, okay. So I get on my knees and I'm literally crawling through sheep. So like we finally crawled through all the sheep, and then like we crawled through like this little, I don't know what it was. There was, I just remember there was an old guy waiting for us at his house. So then we go inside of like his barn house or whatever it is, and like we sat down and he's like, do you guys want anything to drink? He's like, I have Coke. He's like, I got whatever you want. And the first thing that came into my mind, I was like, yes. I was like, I just want a fresh cold Coke, you know. So then he brought me the Coke and I was drinking it, and I was just, it was the best thing ever, because I honestly thought I wasn't gonna make it. So then by this time I had gallos all over my feet, which in English that's blisters. So I had just put on a brand new pair of Converse and they were too tight. I was breaking them in that day. I was like, you know, it's a perfect day to break them in. Wrong idea. When I took my shoes off, my socks were all bloody. I had blisters everywhere. They picked us up and we went to a hotel, and that's when I finally got the chance to call my mom. And I called her and I was like, Mommy, I made it. I was like, I'm so happy. I'm gonna get to see you. And I just got this relief. I just got this huge relief, because I'm like, so many people go through this. So many people cross the border. You know, like it sucks having to go through that whole experience just to visit the place where I was born. It sucks going through that experience just to be able to see my mom again. And I was 10 years old. Nobody should be able to go through that. So then like 2 weeks later passed by. So then from that hotel, we drove to McKinney, Texas. So from McKinney, after those 5 days in McKinney, I went to Corpus Christi, and my mom was gonna pick me up from Corpus Christi because that's where I had family. And I just remember I saw my mom and it was the best thing ever. I was just so happy because I don't know if I was ever gonna see her again. And I apologized to her and I was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, I'm never going back to Mexico. I was like, I won't ever do it. I was like, it was the worst experience of my life. My mom apologized to me. She's like, I'm sorry. She's like, I should have never let you go. She's like, I don't know what I was thinking. She's like, I thought you were gonna be happy. She's like, but I totally forgot like what you were gonna go through. And I was like, it's fine. I was like, you live and you learn. And still today, I am undocumented. I am still an immigrant. I don't like to use that word. I don't have papers. I don't have a visa. I still can't travel to Mexico, but I do have the DREAM Act. So basically what the DREAM Act does is it gives you eligibility to work and to go to college. If you're an immigrant, most people won't hire you, or you can't go to college. So the thing is, now that Trump is president, he wants to take away the DREAM Act, and I know there's a lot of children out there that without the DREAM Act, they won't be able to go to college and they won't be able to work. And that's something really scary to think about, because I know I didn't go to college, although I got accepted to all the colleges in Texas and 5 out of state, and I worked my ass off and I took college classes and I graduated a distinct honor. Like, all that went to waste, all because I'm from Mexico. Because I'm from Mexico, these colleges consider me international student, and if you're an international student, that's like thousands of more dollars. So my mom started stressing out. She was like, okay, she's like, I'm gonna have to work 10 times harder so you can be able to pay for school and this and that. And then I started seeing how stressed she started to get, and I didn't want to see my mom go through that. I didn't want her to bust her ass day and night just so I could go to college. So I was like, you know what? I was like, I remember just crying for days and days and days because I wasn't gonna go to college. I feel like I failed my family because I didn't go to college. I know I can still go to college, you know, but I want to chase my dreams. I have such a strong passion for makeup. In high school, I joined all these sports to see where I fit in. I didn't fit into drill team, I didn't fit into tennis or swimming or National Honor Society, all those things. I just never could find myself until I started doing makeup. I finally felt that I belonged somewhere, and then I slowly started to grow a fan base. And just seeing that I inspired so many girls, it's just like, damn, like I really did that. Like, I'm inspiring all these young girls, and now that you guys know my story, just know that you can do it. Like, don't let anything stop you from pursuing your dream. If somebody would have told me senior year, hey Daisy, you're not going to college, you're gonna be living in California as a makeup artist doing YouTube videos as a career, I would have been like, you're lying. I'm going to college and I'm gonna make my mom proud. And obviously God had different plans for me, and it all ended up working out in his hands, you know? Like, here I am, and I have so many supporters, and I wouldn't be here without you guys either. So a part of me is a part of you. I have so much to thank you guys for. And I know that by not going to college, it's not the end of the world. I could not be happier to share my dreams with you guys. And I did not want to become like an emotional wreck, but this is a really sensitive topic for me. Sitting down here and talking to you guys was something really difficult for me, because when I was in middle school, I wouldn't tell anyone that I was from Mexico. People would call me wetback and all that stuff in middle school, and it would break my heart. I'm a Latina, like, I should be proud of that. I'm Hispanic, I love my culture, I love everything behind it. So then I started embracing it, and I was like, you know what, like, I should really stop caring about what others think about me. I should start living for myself and not living for others. And that's when, you know, like, I found my true self. Makeup made me find myself, and that's why I'm so grateful for it. That's why I have such a strong passion for makeup. You know, doing YouTube, I didn't even think I would go anywhere with doing YouTube videos. I went from a small town girl that lived in Oak Cliff, Texas, making Snapchat tutorials, to now living in California, standing in front of a camera and making this a career. So this video is to you girls, to you boys, whoever you are. Do not stop pursuing your dreams. And at the end of the day, you should just be you, because I was trying to fit into all these things. I was trying to be like my friends. I was trying to feel accepted, and I was just never happy until I finally found something that I was good at and that I love to do. I dreaded going to practice every day. I dreaded going to all these meetings and all that stuff, because I liked it, but I didn't love it. And now doing makeup, it's like I wake up and I want to do my makeup. I love doing my makeup. I love taking pictures. I love sharing tutorials with you guys. You know, I just love sharing my tips and tricks and helping other people aspire to become a makeup artist. And I know this like went from like talking to like about my story to like makeup, and both of them tie so much together, you know? So I just want to thank you guys for everything, and for supporting me, and for being here for me. And I just want to let you know that you are not alone. I know a lot of girls have the same situation as me, so I just wanted to be a voice for those who can't speak about it, because I have a platform, and I'm gonna use that platform to speak upon what is hidden and what people are scared to talk about. Thank you guys for everything, for the support and the love you guys give me on a daily basis. I would not be here without you, and I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching, and I hope you stay tuned for my next video. Bye.